Welcome everyone, I'm Phil Holbrook and this is Stu Royal. We're CDs at BBH London and also international arms dealers, and we're here to tell you all about the Fizooka. For those of you not familiar with the campaign, it's probably a good idea to start with the teaser trailer that we sent out to the world to tell them about the Fizooka. So maybe just press play on that.
How do you sell an idea like that to a client, let alone turn it into reality? Well, for starters, don't call it a weapon. Right? Officially, we're only allowed to refer to it as the Mentos Fizzooka, a launcher, or a tactical item. But unofficially, we will call it a weapon quite a lot because it's impossible not to. But just between us, it's not a weapon. Now, this brief started in time-honored fashion as a client brief asking us to make them famous with 16 to 24-year-olds. And if there's one thing Mentos is famous for, it is the Mentos and Cola experiment. It's got 5 billion views on social media, and 30% of all talk about Mentos is around the experiment. So it was a simple place to start. Well, it actually started way back in 1999. It's been around for decades. First came to prominence on the David Letterman show, and people have been doing it ever since. It's basically a fundamental pillar of social media now. It is the meme before we knew what memes were called. So we thought,
what if we reinvented that experiment, refreshed it? So in come Luke Till and Lawrence Bushell. Lawrence is here. And they had this idea called the soda launcher. If you click on the next one, Stu. A working title, but the initial idea was to mod a weapon to harness the power of Mentos and Cola into a game like Call of Duty. It was a really silly idea, very fun, and but very clever because it got us in front of thousands of our audience. But Call of Duty was not the right partner. It's not very Mentos. It's very violent, and modding weapons into games would probably get us sued, and therefore we'd probably lose the client.
Enter Metavision. Now, if you take a look at Phil and I, you can probably tell we're not experts on Gen Z or gaming in particular. However, Metavision are. They're a gaming-focused activation agency, and they're experts in this field. So we went to talk to them first, and they said, you need to do this in Fortnite. Not only will you reach billions of gamers, giving us the kind of reach that we're looking for, but also you do so in a much more brand-safe environment. And because it's quite an open platform that encourages gamers to experiment within the game itself, we'll be able to pull this off without getting sued. So just a little tutorial on how Fortnite Creative works, if you're not familiar. Fortnite Creative is a gaming platform that allows players to create their own custom worlds with unique landscapes, gameplay, and experiences. So these user-generated worlds are called maps, and they're publicly available for anyone to play on Fortnite. So rather than make this an official sponsorship with Fortnite, we decided to collaborate with individual map creators instead. It meant, we could choose some of the most popular maps on the platform, and by working with them to integrate the Fizooka into their maps, we could make it a much more authentic experience. We didn't need all the bureaucracy of an official partnership.
We absolutely love this idea. So let's update the client. This could actually happen. So we showed the client, and the client comment was, if you go to the next slide, Stu, does it need to does it have to look like a gun? Bloody hell. So we looked at options because obviously we wanted to make this happen. You know, for example, a Ghostbusters-style proton pack. But in the end, we said, yes, it has to be a gun, and it has to give you an advantage in a combat-style world. Because Fortnite is so silly, has a brilliant aesthetic, it could make our launcher look more friendly and therefore was quite forgiving. So the client, I think the next slide, liked the idea of using Fortnite. Oh no, sorry, Stu, we're gone. They liked the idea of using Fortnite, but there were rules. Don't call it a weapon. It needs to be fun to play with. It can't kill anyone, and Mentos branding has to be clearly visible. So we set about reskinning existing weapons in Fortnite. If you go to the next slide. Sorry, I said I was going to do this, didn't I? And these are early concepts, but they didn't look fun. And Mentos, as you can see, wasn't very clear. Certainly the top left, the top one and bottom left. And they were too complicated and trying too hard. So we had a chat and we simplified the ingredients. And in the end, just said, let's just smash together a cola bottle and a Mentos tube, and a bit like Luca Lawrence's initial Scamp.
Yeah, it needed to look stupider. I think it was our ambition, as stupid as possible.
It is what it is. It doesn't need to work logically. We added a few pipes, and you know, this bangs. This is fantastic. So that said, we felt it could be bigger, and the logo could be bigger. I can't believe I just said that. Let's have an RPG. Everyone loves an RPG. A friendly RPG, though. And we ended up with, there were a few issues about clipping, but we loved it. Go big or go home. We then went into 3D design development. We added details such as a window, so you can see the dragé passing. A dragé is a technical name for a Mentos mint, by the way. The dragé passing from the tube into the cola bottle. We tweaked the pipes. We started thinking about how the foam and fizzing would behave. We added friendly bright colours and friendly lights, and now we think this bangs even more.
So this is what it looks like in all its glory at this point. So that's what it looks like, but what does it do? One of our key criteria was it had to offer new functionality. And if there are any keen gamers out there, you will know there are already guns in Fortnite. So what does our gun do that those guns don't? And again, this is where Metavision stepped in. They came to us with the fact that there's never been any weapon in Fortnite that was designed specifically to take down builds. Builds are a divisive subject in Fortnite. Some people love them, some people hate them. If you're good at building, you're basically impossible to kill. You can like create shelter really quickly or get a height advantage and shoot people like a sniper. So this weapon was going to basically be the first one ever designed to like take down builds with a single blast. This is us testing it in our own little weapons facility, seeing how quickly we could knock down builds. So that's, that was the key here. This had to be something new that no one had used before, so people would want to play with it, and it would give them an advantage in the game. So that's what it looks like. That's what it does. What's it called? If you recall, for a long time it was still called the soda launcher, but we knew we could beat that. It's a boring name. So Lawrence set to work and came back with a brain dump of alternatives. You should note that Lawrence is the copywriter in his team, yet he cannot spell geezer or alliteration. But what he lacks in spelling ability, he makes up for with incredible puns, because our name was buried in there, and the Fizooka was born.
So the next thing we did was create a visual identity and a tone of voice which came from the capabilities of the Fizooka. For example, Build Buster or Don't Get FOMO. And we really needed this because it lived in end frames. We had to use it in PR. We had it in social posts. We had lots of assets to play with, as you can see here, and also really cool animations. So, for example, we did a station takeover in Toronto in Canada. the weekend of Comic-Con, because that weekend the Fizooka got launched on the Monday, so it was a nice tease campaign to let everyone know it was coming. So the VI, was very important to us, obviously. We, from a launch point of view, we gave it to, we got influencers such as Cypher PK and Ali A and Spider Gamer. All of these guys made me look cool at home because my kids thought, blimey, if you know them, you have a cool job. And they did their thing, and they drove thousands of people to the maps where you can get hold of the Fizooka. And my God, they did play with this thing. So we've got some stats here. 76 years of gameplay in just the 2 weeks, because the campaign only ran for 2 weeks in 3 maps. We had, I think there's 12.2 million shots fired. So it's incredible. I'm expecting next year for the Fizooka to be in the dictionary as word of the year.
So that's gaming, but our ambition from the outset was always to make this bleed into popular culture outside of just gaming. We wanted to reach everyone. So what if we made one in real life? My glamorous assistant here, Debbie McGee, will show it off. Woohoo! So at this point, enter We Make Stuff Happen. We Make Stuff Happen are a production agency based in Brighton, and we tasked them with the job of turning our game Fizooka into an IRL one. So they got to work doing lots of messy experiments. These poor lads got covered in so much coke. But the amount of the amount of different elements that went into the recipe to find the perfect reaction was insane. We had different, temperatures of cola, different numbers of Mentos. The size of the aperture on the nozzle was changed, and then to get the perfect recipe. Here's a video showing one of those.
Diet Coke, 1 Mento. What is this? 1 Mento, salt and baking powder. Then the rest of the Mentos. Both of the powders are in teaspoon and 6 ml aperture hole.
These guys really loved us.
So then, how did we put that experiment into a working weapon? It's not a weapon. So yeah, they got to work. The engineering on this was insane. They just basically worked out that it couldn't go into the top because once you open a bottle, it loses its fizz immediately. So we had to find another way of keeping the bottle as unopened for as long as possible. And it actually goes in the back. The bottle at the front is just a dummy. There's a false bottom there that the second bottle goes in, gets screwed in. There's an open cartridge at the top. You put your magazine of Mentos in there. It slots in, and then you pull that trigger back. It inserts the Mentos into the cola. All comes through a pipe out this end.
There's lights on it as well, and sound effects. I think the battery's worn out now, but every attention to detail.
We boxed those up and sent 30 of them to content creators around the world, so everyone could get their hands on the Fizooka. If you want to ship some arms around the world, I'll put you in contact with our producer, Tash Allen. It was a very nervous time waiting to see whether all of these arrived because it's quite a suspicious-looking package, I'll be honest. And thankfully, almost all of them arrived at their intended destination, except for 8 that were seized by Brazilian customs. If you want to ship arms to South America, you need the CIA.
So we didn't stop there. We wanted to, what if we make it, stupidly powerful? So in addition to those 30, we made a very special version. So Hacksmith, I don't know if you've heard of them, are a gang of guys literally in Canada. And they make things, they bring weapons from films to life. So they've made Captain America's vibranium shield, Tony Stark's repulsor rays, and lightsabers, etc. So we asked them if they'd make a bazooka and make it, do what it does in the game and actually blow down a building. So 6 weeks later, and after several check-ins, as you can see, the detail that's gone into this thing, they built it, made sure it worked, then they skinned it to make it look like the bazooka. It weighed about 90 pounds, and it was at half the power. It was too much to hold on to, as you'll see in a minute from a video that we sent out.
Do you want to show that?
Let's play that, yeah.
I don't think we have it knocking down a wall, but this is knocking a man off his feet instead.
Fortnite Creative has a new launcher, the Mentos Fizzooka, which uses the explosive power of cola and Mentos. Let me show you how we made it real.
Here you go, found it. Oh, that's the one. Don't use that. How does that look? That's actually a really clever solution to that. Charles's words, not mine. Trigger mark. Oh my god, it works! Well, yeah, I hear it leaking somewhere. Oh well, good enough for a test. They're pressurizing. I feel like a mad scientist. You ready? So I just pull the trigger? I'm alright, just hit my knee a little bit. And you do not want to miss the second video where we test this thing out. Alright, do you want to try the Mentos Fizzooka?
That guy's in a wheelchair now.
So that started seeping into culture because they got on several news channels. The Hacksmith guys did.
Yeah,
Sadly,
everyone.
that thing's been decommissioned now, but I think it's heading to the client as a souvenir.
Yeah, a special thanks before we finish to a lot of people that worked on this project. Patrick Farrell, Laura Huber, Tash Allen, our producer extraordinaire, Liam Thomas, Laura Casado-Cisa, and our fantastic and very trusting clients, Hughes, Ledier, Aga, and Ricardo. And of course...
And obviously Luke and Lawrence.
Yeah, and this is our ECD, Felipe, who made us put this slide in just for him.
This is contractual.
I think we've got just enough time to play the case study at the end, so thank you very much.
If there's anyone here from Coca-Cola who wants to do a Fizooka 2, let us know.
Let's get in touch.
Yeah.
What's all this about? Must be for that new Mentos Fizzooka thing. Fizooka? Yeah. They turned the classic Mentos and Cola experiment into a Fortnite weapon. Where the case study are, right?
Funny thing happens when you mix Mentos with Diet Coke. Now imagine that times a million.
I've got my phone.
Busy experiment harness enough power to set off a rocket launcher. Mentos Fizzooka is what I want.
Yeah, the Mentos Fizzooka's OP!
Spray it, spray it, spray it.
Cola and Mentos. I feel like a mad scientist. Oh, I can taste it.
Mentos Fizzooka!
Fizooka! Mentos Fizzooka, absolutely crazy.
Thank you very much.